Rhea Locke, framed. In a world where every keystroke, breath, and heartbeat was monitored, Rhea Locke had become a ghost. Years ago, her name had been whispered in the darkest corners of the web, a hacker who could breach any system, outwit any firewall. But after a disastrous operation that cost her team their lives, she disappeared, choosing anonymity over infamy. She traded her digital kingdom for a quiet life, working as a mechanic in the sprawling underbelly of New Haven City. The city itself was a maze of neon and shadows. Skyscrapers pierced the smoggy clouds, their holographic advertisements shimmering like false promises. Surveillance drones buzzed overhead, their watchful eyes ensuring the omnipresent government remained unchallenged. Rhea kept her head down, her past hidden, until the day it found her. Rhea was halfway through repairing a junked-out hovercar when the news feed on the garage wall flickered. The anchor's polished voice caught her attention. Breaking news. Global Summit chairwoman Elise Davenport assassinated in a suspected cyber attack. Rhea froze, her grease-streaked hands tightening around a wrench. The broadcast shifted to footage of a press conference. A government official stepped forward, grim-faced. "We have identified the perpetrator," he announced. The screen transitioned to a still image, a grainy photo of Rhea from years ago. Her heart dropped. Rhea Locke, a known cybercriminal, is responsible for the attack. Authorities have issued an immediate capture or kill order. The wrench clattered to the floor. Her mind raced. Framed. Someone had resurrected her old identity, painted a target on her back. Hours later, she was on the run. Her small apartment had been raided before she could return. Surveillance drones scoured the streets. Rhea knew the systems better than most, but even she couldn't hide forever in a city that saw everything. She needed answers, and fast. Her first stop was the Vault, a black market haven for the city's outcasts. Beneath the guise of an abandoned nightclub, it was a warren of tech dealers, hackers, and smugglers. Rhea slipped inside, pulling her hood low. The strobe lights painted her features in fleeting colors, but she knew better than to linger in anyone's gaze. At the bar, she found an old contact, Nix, a wiry man with augmented eyes that glowed faintly blue. "Well, if it isn't the ghost herself," Nix drawled, swirling his drink. "Word is you've been busy." Chairwoman Davenport. "Huh? Bold move." "I didn't do it," Rhea snapped, sliding into the seat beside him. "But someone wants the world to think I did. I need to know who." Nix smirked. "And what makes you think I'll help?" "I saved your life in Prague," she reminded him, her voice low. His smirk faltered. "Fair point. What do you need?" "Access to the grid," Rhea said. "I need to trace whoever planted that hit on me." Nix hesitated, glancing around. "You realize you're public enemy number one right now? Anyone caught helping you?" "I know the risks," she said, her gaze steady. After a tense moment, Nix nodded. "Follow me." In a back room filled with outdated servers and flickering monitors, Rhea plugged into the grid. Her fingers danced across the keyboard, bypassing layers of security. It felt almost nostalgic, the rush of breaking through barriers, of bending the rules of a system built to control. She unearthed the assassination code, a complex algorithm designed to breach the chairwoman's neural implant and overload it. But as she dug deeper, she found something chilling. Her signature. The code bore her digital fingerprint, a unique pattern she hadn't used in years. Whoever had framed her wasn't just skilled, they were intimate with her work. Her blood ran cold as a name surfaced in her mind. Cypher. Cypher had once been her partner, a fellow hacker with an appetite for chaos. But their partnership had ended badly, with Cypher's betrayal leading to the deaths of their team. Rhea had assumed he was dead, taken out in the aftermath. Apparently, she'd been wrong. Rhea left the vault with a plan. Cypher had always been arrogant, leaving breadcrumbs to taunt his enemies. She'd find him and end this game before it destroyed her. Her search led her to the outskirts of New Haven, where the towering skyscrapers gave way to derelict industrial zones. She found an abandoned warehouse, its perimeter guarded by automated turrets. Rhea hacked the turrets, slipping inside undetected. The air was thick with the hum of servers. Screens lined the walls, displaying feeds from the city's surveillance network. At the center of the room stood Cypher, his face illuminated by the glow of a monitor. "Rhea," he said without turning. "I was wondering when you'd show up." "Cut the games, Cypher," she said, stepping forward. "Why frame me?" He turned, a predatory smile on his lips. "You always were the best, Rhea. But you walked away. You buried your talents in some garage while the world burned. And you decided to burn it more?" She shot back. "Davenport had to go," Cypher said. "Her policies were choking the grid. I needed a scapegoat, and who better than the infamous Rhea Locke?" "You could have just asked for my help," she said bitterly. "I didn't want your help," he said. "I wanted your legend." Rhea's fists clenched. "I'm not letting you get away with this." Cypher laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "And how do you plan to stop me?" The confrontation erupted into chaos. Cypher activated a swarm of drones, their red eyes glowing like embers in the dark. Rhea ducked and weaved, her years of experience kicking in. She hacked one drone mid-flight, turning it against the others. Cypher underestimated her. With a final surge of effort, Rhea breached his system, shutting down the drones and disabling his network. Cypher's smug confidence evaporated as she cornered him. "This is over," she said, her voice ice-cold. But Cypher wasn't done. He pulled a concealed blade, lunging at her. Rhea dodged, grabbing a metal pipe from the ground. The fight was brutal, a clash of desperation and fury. In the end, Rhea overpowered him, pinning him to the ground. "Do it," Cypher hissed, blood staining his teeth. "Prove you're no different from me." Rhea hesitated, the weight of her past pressing down on her. But she wasn't the same person she'd been. "No," she said, stepping back. "You're going to pay for what you've done. The right way." Rhea turned Cypher over to the authorities, along with evidence of his crimes. Clearing her name wasn't easy. The government was slow to admit its mistake. But eventually, the truth emerged. Rhea returned to her quiet life, though she knew it would never be the same. She'd tasted the thrill of her old world again. But this time, she didn't let it consume her. As the neon lights of New Haven flickered outside her garage, Rhea Locke found something she hadn't felt in years: peace. But she remained vigilant. In a city that saw everything, she knew shadows still lingered, waiting for their moment. And if they came for her again, she'd be ready.